Hello and welcome to Dota for Noobs. In this video, we're going to go over some of the settings. Some of these settings are really important in determining how you play your game. And some of these are very nice quality of life changes, and some of them will be very trivial in how you play the game. So let's get started. First, to get to your settings, what you want to do is you want to come to this top left corner and hit this gear key. This gear key should be available to you anytime in the menu, and I believe can also access it in game as well. So these are your default hotkeys here. This is your first options section that opens up. So these are your default keys. So one of the important ones here is Quickcast. If you enable Quickcast, what that does is it allows your spells to be cast as soon as you push the button, and it will be cast wherever your mouse is located at that time. So we'll open up a demo here real quick. We'll select Dragon Knight because we're all pretty familiar with him, and I will show you what that looks like. So we're just going to level up our first skill here, and if you just use your skill regularly, you push Q in this case, and you have to click where you want to have your spell cast afterward. On the other hand, if you enable Quick Cast, all you need to do is wherever you have your mouse located, as soon as you push Q, your spell will be cast. It definitely is faster, however, there is more room for error. So whichever one you feel more comfortable with, I suggest that you do whatever is more comfortable for you. This is also available for items. I feel like this is, especially for Town Portal Scroll, it definitely becomes a little bit more tricky because if you push the wrong item button, you can make the mistake of using an item that you do not want to use with Quick Cast. One really important hotkey that you do want to set at one point or another is this one right up here. This is your neutral item slot. So a lot of neutral items don't have active abilities, but some of them do. And you definitely want to have a hotkey set so that if you do have an active ability, you can use that active ability. I would suggest setting it to a hotkey that is easy for you to push on your keyboard, isn't too far of a reach and isn't interfering with another button that you use on a regular basis. Looking at the rest here, some of the simple ones here are select hero, which selects your hero is exactly what it sounds like. And then select all controlled units. So what select all controlled units will do is it will select both your hero and any other units under your control. This includes any sort of summoned units or illusions or anything of that matter. Some of the other ones here, purchase quick buy. What this does is anything that you have in your quick buy section. So if you go here back to the demo, and you put an item into your quick buy, the way you do that, you left click the item and you hold and you drag into your quick buy section, which is down here. And then if you push that button, you will automatically just purchase whatever is there. It's kind of nice to have because if you're trying to spend your gold quickly without having to think about it and you have items in your quick buy already, it will allow you to buy those items very quickly. Another very important option here is under interface, which is camera grip. So there are three different ways to move your camera around the map. The first and most common one, which is the one that I use personally, is edge pan, which is you move your mouse to the edge of the screen and your screen will move according to whichever edge you reach. Whether it's up, down, left, right, corners, anything like that. That is edge pan. The next one is camera grip. So camera grip is listed as mouse 3, which is usually your middle mouse button if you have it. So what that does is if you click your mouse button, your middle mouse button, or whatever button you set it to, you can move your camera around according to however, wherever you want to drag it to. So it kind of gives you the option to just kind of freely drag your screen around and move your camera accordingly. Some pros swear by this, some players swear by this. So whatever makes you feel most comfortable, that is what you should use. The last option is setting your arrow keys. So you can just push your arrow keys up, down, left, right, however you want. You can also change those keys to your WASD keys if you'd like to, and switch some of your other hotkeys around to move your camera around that way. There are a lot of people that do it that way as well. So don't feel like there's one right or wrong way. There are a lot of different options specifically so that you have the ability to do things differently if you would like to. Now, if we go to the advanced hotkeys here, one of the important ones here is activate glyph and activate scan. These hotkeys are important because you definitely want to know how to use these. If you don't have a hotkey set for these are your default hotkeys. So if you have not changed anything, those should be the ones that you have set. But they are also available down here in the bottom left-hand corner, right next to your minimap. Scan and glyph. So what scan does is it allows you to scan an area of the map. So if you click here or you push P and you click an area of the map, it will scan like this, and this green circle will turn red if there are enemy heroes in that area. It will only detect enemy heroes within that radius. So it will be red if there are enemy heroes, and it will stay green if there are none. So there is a 3-minute and 30-second cooldown for scanning, so it is important to use it at the right times. But you definitely want to have that available to you whenever you need. Glyph of fortification here, what it does is if you push it, it makes your creeps and your towers invulnerable for a short amount of time. Your creeps stay invulnerable for much shorter than your towers do. And if you activate it when at your tier 2 and above and closer to your base tower, so tier 2, tier 3, tier 4, those towers also gain multi-shot. This only applies to those towers. Your tier 1 tower does not gain multi-shot. This is a relatively new feature, so I don't know if they're going to end up changing this at one point or another in the game, but currently that is the way that it is set. So it is important to know where your glyph buttons are. Going here to your next advanced hotkey, which is purchase sticky. This is a good one. So your sticky is this item here that is going to be default as Town Portal Scroll. So same as the quick buy, you can drag a different item there if you'd like to. A lot of people use clarities in their sticky, and you will just always be able to purchase that with a click of one button, which is defaulted to F8. So if you just push it, you will automatically just purchase whatever is in that sticky section. So we'll just set it back to Town Portal. And anytime you need a Town Portal, you just push whatever button you have set and it'll automatically purchase it. Another important advanced hotkey is your open shop. Depending on what you feel more comfortable with, you can switch your open shop button. I feel like for me, F4 is a little bit difficult to reach, so I have it set to a different key. But whatever works for you, you set it to whatever key that you'd like to set it to, and just so you can open up your shop quicker. You definitely don't want to have to click every single time. The more hotkeys you set, the quicker you can be at the game. Another important one here is these hotkey options. Quickcast on key down. So if you're using Quickcast on key down will cast a spell when you push the key down versus releasing the key. There's a minor difference to this, so it kind of gives you the option to hold down your Quickcast button and release it when you want it used. So if you have this option unchecked, it kind of puts you in the in-between between having to click after pushing your spell and using Quickcast. So like I said, whatever is most comfortable for you, I will use it that way. Double tap ability to self-cast is exactly what it sounds like. I don't believe this works properly with Quickcast all the time, but anytime you have an ability that you can cast on yourself, I believe this also applies to items. If you double click your spell, you will be able to cast that spell on yourself. Some of these are spells that, you know, give you a buff or give you some sort of protection or a heal. So it is nice to have this option available to you if you feel comfortable using it. Smart double tap. So this is if you hold down Alt while pressing an ability or item, it'll automatically trigger a double tap if it's possible. So if you use this in combination with your quick cast, if you hold Alt and you push the key, it will cast on yourself if possible. So this kind of helps it work if you're using quick cast. Another one is if you want to use camera grip as your left click instead of using your middle mouse, that it is this option available right here. And enabling advanced quick cast and auto cast hotkeys. So if you click this one here and you go back to your basic hotkeys, you will have a different set of menus. So what you'll be able to do is you'll be able to set quick cast for only certain spells and certain abilities instead of every single one. And if you want even more customization, you can click unit specific hotkeys and you can just choose specific heroes and you can have quick cast set for just certain spells and not all of them. And same with your items, you can have certain item slots use quick cast and certain items not use quick cast. So however you want to set that, this enable advanced quick cast auto cast hotkeys allows you to switch all of that up. Next section here is the options section. Some of the important ones here is setting your auto attack. This determines whether or not your hero will automatically attack when it gets to a certain area. If you have it set to always auto attack, no matter what you click, I know in a previous video I mentioned that if you just right click that your hero will not automatically attack. If you have auto attack set to always, anytime you go near any unit, your hero will automatically start attacking regardless of what the situation is. So here I just right clicked here and my hero just starts attacking the first unit it sees. On the flip side, if you switch that to never, they will never auto attack anything ever. I don't know why they have this, but the double tap ability to self cast is here as well for whatever reason. And smart double tap is here as well. Unified orders with control. This is a very nice quality of life option here. If you use unified orders with control, what you do is anytime you hold control and you push any button, particularly the important ones are using it to move. If you hold control and you push, if you click right click a spot on the map, what it will do is it will any unit under your control, whether it's an illusion or summoned creep or whatever it might be, they will all follow the same command if you are holding control. So it is nice to use if you need it. If it complicates things for you, once again, you can leave it off. It is off by default, so if you want to turn that on, you have the option here. Teleport requires hold stop. So this is on by default, but what this does is this allows you to not cancel your town portal scroll by right-clicking by accident. This is kind of nice to have because if you click by accident, your teleport will be canceled, and that can be very annoying at times if you're trying to get someplace and you're trying to start walking immediately. So if we look here, if you try to teleport to your tower here and you start trying to move, you will not be able to cancel the town portal. However, if you turn off that option, then as soon as you start to try to teleport and you right click, it'll cancel it. So it is nice to have. If you still need to cancel your teleport, you can push S to stop, and that will stop your teleport if necessary. Channeled abilities require hold stop. This does the same thing for any ability that you use that requires channeling. This will make it so that just the same, if you right click, it will not stop that channeling ability until you push stop. Some people like having that option available to them. Some people find it a little bit confusing and difficult. So once again, just do whatever works for you, whatever you feel most comfortable doing. Quick attack is kind of like Quickcast, where if you push your A key near any creep, it will automatically start attacking, or if you push A on the ground anywhere, it will automatically attack move to that spot. Same with quick move. I believe your move key is automatically set to M, so you can use the same tactic for this as quick cast. Right click to force attack basically allows you to deny without having to attack. So if you don't have to A click to deny anymore, you can just right click and it'll automatically deny a creep, or sometimes even a hero or a tower if necessary, without having to push A and then left click. So if this is something that sounds like it's convenient to you, I would turn it on. Here with the camera, like I said, edge pan. Edge pan is where you put your mouse to the edge of the screen and it moves around. If you want to disable that, some people don't like the way that works, you can disable that here. Center camera on hero respawn. So what that does here is anytime you die, when you respawn, your camera will automatically jump to the fountain where your hero is respawned. A lot of people recommend that you turn this off so that if you are focusing your attention somewhere else, as soon as your hero respawns, you can focus on getting to that area instead of being having your camera forced back to the fountain. Another important one here is the mini-map options. One of the important ones here is use Alt to show hero icons. If you hold Alt, it will show the hero icons just like this. So instead of seeing these little teardrop shapes and the little arrows, if you push Alt just like this, it'll just show what heroes are there. So instead of having to look up and check what color each hero is, you will be able to just see what heroes are there. Another important one here would be invert Alt toggle. So personally, I like this one for myself, but I like having it where I use both of these, and instead of having little arrows and teardrop shapes running around the map, I just see heroes' portraits running around the map, so I know which heroes are where, and I have a better idea of what I'm looking at versus trying to figure out which color is what hero and trying to figure that all out. Show minimap on the right will switch the position of your minimap. By default, it is to the left. If you also toggle this, your shop will pop up on your left-hand side instead of your right-hand side. If that makes it difficult for you, I would just leave it the way that it is. Another important one here is the interface options here in options. So up at the top right, you have all of these holding Alt shows. So one of the nice things is holding Alt shows neutral spawn boxes and holding Alt shows tower attack range. So what these things do is when you're in game, I'll show you here. If you hold Alt, you can see this green circle, which is where your tower's attack range is. This also applies to enemy towers. So if you have an enemy tower, which happens to not be here right now, if you hold Alt, it will show the enemy tower attack range. So you can avoid the attack range of the tower if necessary. The creep spawn box also helps you with stacking camps or making sure that you can put a ward in a camp if you are trying to block the camp from respawning. So this gives you an idea of where to stand or not to stand if you're trying to have neutral creep spawn or not spawn. Some of the advanced options we can go over here would be bringing Dota 2 to the front here on the bottom left-hand corner. So if you are one of those people that like to do other things when you're, when you're not in game, or, when people pause, if you alt tab out of your game, these options, having it all checked, will automatically bring your focus back into the game, so that you can come right back into the game if a match is found, or if the game gets unpaused or anything like that. It is kind of nice to have, just in case, you're doing other things while you're waiting for the game to start. Another nice one here is, I like to have this disabled. So enable screen shake. What happens is certain spells and certain abilities will cause your screen to shake. I find it a little disorienting myself and sometimes distracting. So I like to keep that disabled. If you like the effects, like I said, everyone has their own preferences. So if that makes you feel comfortable, and you like the effects, go ahead and leave that on. Like I said, personally, it's a little distracting to me and a little dizzying, so I prefer to keep that off. Another one that's nice here is display network information. This is on by default, but if you look at the top right corner, it shows my FPS and my ping. So kind of nice to know, if you're having any sort of network issues during the game, if your ping spikes all of a sudden, or you start having lost packets, it kind of gives you an idea of what's going on. If you're having internet issues or anything like that, you can just take a quick peek up at the top right corner and see if you're actually having issues or if it's something else. And another really important option here is strict solo role queue matchmaking, which is this one right here. So if you have this option checked, when you solo queue for any sort of matchmaking, you will only get into games with other people who are solo queuing. Some people swear by this when they're trying to gain MMR, because this makes it so that they don't get stuck into party. Some people claim that there are more Smurfs in party games. If that makes you feel more comfortable, I would just go ahead and keep that checked, so that whenever you are solo queuing for a game, you're only going into other games with people that are solo queuing as well. All right, next section here is the social section. It's kind of a shorter section here. One of the things that I tell a lot of newer players is to disable certain allowed chat. So a lot of times I just tell people to have only friendly players and teammates checked, so that when the enemy team starts all chatting and trying to taunt you and things like that, it doesn't distract you. If you're not one of those people that get tilted or distracted by people talking trash or things like that, you can just leave it set to all players. There's also always options to mute during a game. So if you feel like anyone is bothering you or saying things that are just toxic, just mute people. It makes your life so much easier. If they're not saying anything productive, you don't really need to listen to them. You can always mute people by opening up your game and going into the scoreboard. That is, you go to the scoreboard, and under this player section, there should be an option to either mute their text or their voice. You just click it, and it'll turn into a red circle with a little slash through it, and that will make it so that you can't hear them anymore. It is always good to just mute people if they are not saying things that you really need to hear. The next thing would be the video setting. So if you look at some of these video settings, there are a bunch of different options. What I will do is I'm going to link a website in the video description that just goes over what every single one of these little options do. Some of them make very big differences in your frame rate. Some of them are very minimal. I'm just going to let that guide help you out, and you kind of should just do what works best for you. If you prefer the game looking a lot prettier and you don't really care about, your frame rate too much, go ahead and max out all your settings. If you're looking to have the most competitive edge with the fastest frame rate, and making sure things that only need to be seen are seen, you can go ahead and follow that guide in the description, and hopefully you'll be able to pick the things that will help you have your game look the best for what you need it to do. Same with some of your audio settings here. If you need your music too loud, if your in-game music is too loud, or your game sounds are too loud, or things like that, you can kind of switch all of that here. This default death music, some people like to turn that off because they don't want to hear the music when they die. Same with the respawn music. You don't always need to hear the music when you're respawning. If you want to turn those off, you can turn these on or off. I would always try to keep your voice chat if you're comfortable with using your mic in game. If you feel like using open mic, which means that you don't have to push to talk, you can go ahead and click this button. I generally recommend against that because sometimes people can hear you breathe and things like that. It's a little distracting. And last but not least, if you go into this account setting, what you can do is you can add a phone number, which will allow you to associate your phone number with a ranked account. I think you need this to play ranked games. This MMR recalibration, if you ever feel like you need to recalibrate your MMR, you can go ahead and select that, and it will allow you to kind of redo a couple of your ranking games. Generally, from what I've noticed is that no matter how many times you recalibrate, you're going to end up in the general same MMR until you actually improve. So I would just hold off on doing that. It's not really going to make that big of a difference. That's it for this video. Subscribe to my channel for more noob-friendly Dota content. Leave any questions or suggestions in the comments below. And most importantly, share this with your friends if you think it'll help them learn more about the game of Dota. Thanks, and good luck in your games. Also, I apologize if this video is a little bit more casual than usual. I've been told that I sound a little robotic, so I've been trying to sound a little bit more casual, I guess. I wanted to make it sound like I'm more of a real person, so I kind of left in some of my ums and things like that. It wasn't scripted at all, just had some pointers and I was trying to go over things. So if you like this style, please let me know in the comments below, and we'll see you in the next one.